Today in the Diz List, we discuss the top 5 quick service restaurants at Walt Disney World.
Welcome to the Diz List, the podcast that ranks everything in Walt Disney World. I'm Nick.
And I'm Rob, and welcome to episode 44, where we discuss the top 5 quick service restaurants at Walt Disney World.
This is a hard list for me. I don't really dine at a lot of quick service, but I definitely have a list.
I only really dine at quick service.
Yes, this is like the opposites of, like, if I said, hey, let's do a table service one, you'd be like,
I don't know what to do.
Yeah. So I've at least dined at enough that I can do this list, and I purposely left some off that I know are like big hitters just because I haven't eaten there.
Yeah, there were a few that I haven't either, and it's funny looking through all the quick service restaurants and realizing kind of where some of the best ones are and how there's one really, really big, important park that doesn't have a lot of great quick service.
Yeah.
That we'll get to.
Yeah, I mean, it is weird that, I mean, I think there's better quick service at Disney Springs than there are in a couple parks.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's amazing to me.
Definitely. We enjoy going to Disney Springs for that. The Deluxe Burger we love, Blaze Fire Pizza. We haven't been to Chicken Guy, but we hear that's, good for quick service, but.
Right.
Yeah. There's plenty there.
So this week in the world of Disney, it's kind of been an interesting week, but it's all like political stuff that I'd rather not even bother getting into.
Oh my God!
All the ridiculousness of the match going back and forth.
My buddy Adam, last night at band practice, he brought it up. He goes, "Oh, what do you think about the whole DeSantis versus Disney thing?" He goes, "You should do a whole episode on the podcast." I go, "No."
Yeah, absolutely not.
I said, it's exhausting.
It is.
And then he says, I don't know if this is true.
Okay.
Maybe our listeners can tell us or not. He goes, you know what's really funny about DeSantis? I go, what? He goes, he got married at Disney.
Yeah, he got married at
Is that real?
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah. There's pictures of him like at Disney wearing his wedding stuff and his wife.
Oh my God. Adam told me that last night. I'm like, oh my Lord. I said, and Nick will probably know, but it's exhausting.
It is exhausting. That's why it's just like, I'm going to just wait and we'll see what happens in courts. And I don't really care enough to discuss it because it's not going to change how I vacation.
Yeah. And if our listeners care, that's cool. Just there's so many different social media outlets that are covering it.
Yeah.
We're not one of them.
Yeah. I will say that there's been some really funny jokes that I've seen. Like somebody said, so is the prison on the monorail? Is there a monorail stop at the prison? So that's kind of funny.
Or are they going to put the actual prisoners at the end of Pirates of the Caribbean?
That would be actually pretty funny.
Or in the coffin on Haunted Mansion? Let me out of here.
I've seen a couple construction updates. They're not updates so much as like some pictures, and they are moving right along on Splash Mountain / Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Yeah, I think it looks cool. I mean, there's a lot of rumors too going around that they could easily retheme quick service is perfect for this episode.
Yeah.
There's a quick service restaurant just very, very close to Splash Mountain. It's called Pecos Bills, which I like Pecos Bills. It's not the greatest food in the world, but I enjoy eating there. But there's rumors that it may be rethemed as Tiana's Place restaurant. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that stinks because I enjoy eating we'll put Mexican food in quotes for for some of our listeners who are very specific about what Mexican food they like.
Yeah.
And that's fine. We'll put it in quotes, but there was talk about that area kind of becoming a New Orleans Square area, and we'll see. I'm not opposed to anything at this point.
I don't hate that idea.
No.
Some of the news outlets that throw, everything at the wall and something sticks, and then they say, oh, look what I did. I knew that was coming. Have reported some really big stuff going on there.
Yeah, and some stuff that they say is going to happen and never does, and you never hear anything about it.
Right, yeah, they don't bring that back up.
Yeah, the time that they do stick, they tell everybody they knew it first.
Yeah. Progress at the Poly's going along really well.
Yeah.
I've also seen a couple videos and a couple pictures from Magic Kingdom this past week where they had equipment in the moat around the castle, and they were
Removing or painting?
I don't know what they were doing. So I think they were doing some rehab to the actual moat or whatever you want to call that.
Oh, so it's not specifically to the castle.
No, they had cherry pickers in there, so my guess is they would be trying to go up, and some of it was to do with removing some of the 50th stuff.
Yeah, because it wasn't just a medallion with the 50 on it. It was sort of these faux drapes that were actually not drapes or cloth in any way.
Yeah.
And they had like those, also the faux gems on the outside. I bet they're probably trying to remove some of that stuff too.
Yeah. I also got like the news this week that we're going to be leaving Disney like a week or two. No, not a week. 5 days before the first Mickey's Not So Scary. And I'd be lying if I told you that I didn't think, I wonder if I can change my flights. Just so I could go to Mickey's Not So Scary and compare it to the Boo Bash. But yeah, we're not going to do that. But
yeah, I was looking up possibilities of when I could go and do that, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work for us, especially with our kids and doing sports and
yeah. I mean,
it just won't work.
It's tough, and I want to do a party. I've done the Boo Bash thing, but I want to do a party. There are some Hollywood Studios after-hours events that are going on. They've been going on, I think, every Wednesday. I can't remember what day it is, but I think it's Wednesdays. And I was like, hey, look it up. We'll see how much it costs. $150. And I was like, yeah, I'm not paying $150 for after-hours.
What is it, 7 to 1? 7 p.m. to 1 a.m.?
I would be lying if I tried to pick out the numbers, but I think that sounds about right.
Okay.
But like for $150, that's not worth it.
I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but I'm still really bummed when we had our summer vacation booked for 2020. Obviously, the parks were closed; nobody could go. But we had tickets for the Toy Story. I forgot what it's called. The Toy Story Beach Party. It was at Typhoon Lagoon, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It looked fun because, I mean, if you go to Disney in the summertime, and I mean, it's extremely hot.
I think if you go to Disney anytime, because I know what you're about to say, right?
Yeah.
About
well, the four of us are very fair-skinned,
right.
Our family.
Right.
And we burn incredibly easy, and I'm good at, keeping myself out of the sun. But if you go to a place where, you're swimming all day long, my thought was, hey, if I'm going to go and it's, 5 o'clock or 5 to midnight or whatever, and it's dark and we can swim and cool down in the dark, I think that might be a better plan than just roasting all day long.
I agree. So the thing that I think is cool about that particular type of after hours is exactly what you just said. It's a more appropriate temperature.
Yeah.
At least for people who aren't used to the Florida heat. And the sun can get quite rough. And when you're in and out of water, I don't care how waterproof your sunscreen is. It's not that waterproof.
Yep. You got to keep reapplying.
So
anyway, I still hope we get to do that someday. And it was nicer because our kids are going to be younger, but I don't think our kids are going to ever really grow out of Toy Story being cool.
Well, or they're certainly not going to grow out of going to a park. I don't think,
and especially for something a special event like that.
Right.
Great.
I agree. I mean, I'm not growing out of Toy Story, and I'm in my 40s, so give me some Woody and Buzz all day long.
Yep.
But want to head off to the halftime show, and then we'll come right back and we'll tell you our top 5 quick service restaurants.
All right. We'll see you in a moment.
Want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere and even earn money, all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or computer. No matter what your setup is like, you can start creating today. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify.
and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify. When you want to take your conversation with your fans to the next level, Q&A and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. Best of all, it's totally free, and there's no catch. When we discovered Spotify for Podcasters, we unlocked a door to a world where we could celebrate our passion, and we could create a community around what we love. I highly recommend you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started.
Welcome back. This episode, we are going to discuss the top 5 quick service restaurants at Walt Disney World. For my list, I went parks, resorts, even over to Disney Springs would have been eligible. I didn't put anything from Disney Springs on mine, but that's just because when I'm in Disney Springs, I'm not eating quick service.
Yeah, I mean, I've had quite a bit of quick service in the different resorts that I've stayed at, and we've stayed at quite a few.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, and it's spoiler, that I didn't put any of them on my list because I don't think any of them would have beaten any of my top 5.
Well, that's good.
I mean, there's some that are pretty decent. When we were at Polynesian, that's, what is it, Captain Jack's?
Captain
Cook's. I'm thinking of the Billy Joel song.
Or either that or Captain
Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, Captain Jack Sparrow.
Wait a minute, is the Billy Joel song Captain Jack too?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, well, we'll have to look that up later too. Yeah, through the magic of editing, I just looked it up, and it is Captain Jack's. Thank God. Yeah, I knew that song. I love Billy Joel.
Yeah.
So anyway, I do not have any of the resort quick service restaurants, and again, they are pretty decent. Some of them are not, but
some of them are definitely not.
Again, there is one that my son said at one point when we were at Coronado Springs that this is a quote. "This is the greatest cheeseburger I've ever had in my life." And that was and I can't remember what the name of the place was. It was the quick service restaurant at Coronado Springs. And it was a typical burger like, any of the other places we've had before. I think he was just in a really good mood, and it was a good burger. But again, didn't crack my top 5 for reasons I will get to, at a later date. But yeah, I figured a little shout out for the gluten-free hamburgers at Coronado Springs.
That's
and again,
funny.
Before we get to our list, it's important for everyone to know that our family, we are a gluten-free family. My daughter and I have a sensitivity, but we do not have celiac disease. And my wife and son both have celiac disease. So when we go to Walt Disney World, we are very conscious about where we eat. And the nice thing is, again, if you're a first-time listener, this is very important to know that if you have any food allergy or any dietary restrictions, when you get up to the counter and you go to order, or even on mobile order, you can do this. You let the person know, and an actual chef will come out and have a conversation with you and give you your options and reassure you that your meal will be safe. And I will tell you, of all with our family, we've gone 8 or 9 times now. I should probably know that number. But we have never had an issue with cross-contamination or any kind of food allergy issue.
Yeah, I mean, they
always been fantastic.
They're always good, whether and it doesn't have to just be gluten. It could be, I've been there with someone with a nut allergy and a mushroom allergy, which is a very unique one, and they're always great.
So yeah, I like to mention that too, because again, if you're a new listener, welcome, and we're always happy when we have new listeners. If this is the first time that you've listened to us, thank you, and let's get to our list here.
Yeah.
I'll start off with number 5 here, and some of these may surprise you. But I think you, meaning I'm talking to Nick right now. I'm not sure, and I'm curious when I mention one of these. I'm curious whether or not you've eaten there, because we've gone to Disney before one time, and I know where we have eaten together. Mm-hmm. But I'm wondering if you've eaten at these places or not before. So my number 5, we have eaten at maybe 3 or 4 different times. We try to go around to the different quick service places, and we try to visit as many different ones. But we also have our favorites that we always go back to. This one is kind of one that we really like, but we also like to try to be adventurous and try some other food. But this particular park doesn't have that many options, and this is the Flame Tree Barbecue. Have you ever eaten there before?
So I haven't. I've heard really good things.
It is. It's good. And the reason why we'll go back to it is we want to try some different things, because a lot of it is, pulled pork, and it's a barbecue place, but you can get hamburgers. And I think I've gotten maybe 2 or 3 different things there. And any of like the barbecue pulled chicken or pulled pork is very, very good. And you want to comment on that at all?
I was just going to say that, I'm pretty sure that on one of the days that we're going to because we're going to Animal Kingdom 2 days, and I think right now we're planning on going to Flame Tree. So
you'll enjoy it.
Yeah,
I would recommend really, and the barbecue there, I will say, is definitely a higher level of the barbecue than in Epcot.
Regal Eagle.
The Regal Eagle.
Yeah.
The Regal Eagle. It was a little dry.
It's disappointing is what it is.
Here's the one reason I will at least throw it this way. It's not on my list. It's also, I wouldn't call it awful. It's not great, but you have the option of the different sauces when you go to the Regal Eagle. And that's not really an option when you go to Flame Tree, but your standard barbecue sauce is very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed it. And the family, they're very open. They like barbecue. I make it at home a lot. I know you love to barbecue. Actually, I prefer your barbecue to mine, to be totally honest. You're very good at it. But as far as Flame Tree goes, the only other funny thing with Flame Tree that I'll mention is the majority of the seating is outside, but it is under tree cover. But if you sit kind of down further away, sort of near the water area where they do oh my gosh, I can't remember what the original show, the light, what's the name of the show?
The one over in...
Yeah, where they would have the flowers float out in the middle.
Rivers of Light?
Rivers of Light. I knew it had the word light in it.
Yeah.
So if you go down there and eat, it is like ibis bird central. The ibis birds, those white birds with the curved bills.
Oh, yeah.
They're everywhere. And they will try to eat your food, and there's signs that say, do not feed the birds. Well, not everybody is really listening. So these birds are like all up in your grill trying to eat or take your food. Like they'll go under your legs. They're not even afraid to go right under your legs. So if you have younger kids that are squeamish about these birds all over the place, just warn them, or try to sit up closer to the restaurant and not further away.
Or your wife doesn't like birds.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that is definitely true. So number 5, it's good. I mean, again, it's quick service, and the table service meals that I've had, mostly with you when I've gone to Walt Disney World, definitely better. But when it comes to something quick and a decent meal, Flame Tree Barbecue is definitely a place you should check out in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, actually. So, my number 5 is actually, I don't know if I would, some people would argue this isn't a full-blown quick service, but I'm going to say it is. And I like it. A lot of the times we eat quick service, we're eating breakfast, grabbing a quick bite. So my number 5 is Gaston's Tavern over in Magic Kingdom.
Oh, okay. I haven't eaten there before.
They have a cinnamon roll that is amazing. They also have a ham provolone Swiss sandwich, I think. That's pretty good. But you can get LeFou's brew over there, which is kind of cool.
What is that actually?
It's frozen apple juice.
Okay.
But it's and they've got they put there's like a toasted marshmallow like flavor to it.
Okay,
it's
that's
like
cool.
I think the toasted marshmallow thing is like something you would add to possibly coffee or something like that. It's a syrup probably. It's probably like full of sugar. But
where are the actual places in Magic Kingdom you can buy alcohol besides Be Our Guest? Or is that it?
Oh, this isn't alcohol.
No, I know it isn't, but it made me think of it. I know it's non-alcoholic, but it made me wonder.
So Skipper's Canteen, the Plaza.
Okay.
No, not the Plaza.
Crystal
Palace.
Crystal Palace, yeah.
Yeah. And then I think they serve alcohol over at Town Square, Tony's Town Square.
Okay.
I honestly don't know.
Interesting. We can look that up too in a second here.
Yeah, but as far as quick service goes, I'm eating a lot of quick service breakfasts, or a quick grab and go. But I have been to Gaston's also in the middle of the day when it's super hot out. go get a cinnamon roll, because there's never a bad time for one of those cinnamon rolls. Sit in the back and just relax. Plus, it's kind of cool because it's got the little Gaston outside, the little fountain. Every once in a while, you'll see Gaston walking around back there.
Or if in Disneyland, you'll see him all the time.
Yeah.
Now, is that also the turkey leg place?
There is not a turkey leg there.
Okay, where are the turkey legs sold? I mean, we're not experts on that.
I wouldn't seek them out, so I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder. Well, we're gonna have comments online too,
Yeah.
of people telling us where.
Yeah.
Not that we're looking for it. But.
Right, yeah. So Gaston's Tavern is my number 5.
Okay, great choice. That wasn't even on my list because it's not somewhere I have been to before, and I am not sure, honestly, what is on that list. I think any sandwich they can end up making a gluten-free version of. So I'm sure that's a place that we could go and enjoy as well. Number 4, I'm not sure if you've been to this place before, but it's nice for a lot of reasons. And it's often overlooked because the entrance is not really like a grand entrance that you would really be looking for. And I guess, to be fair, a lot of the restaurants in Walt Disney World are kind of like that. They don't really have these giant, grandiose signs and places where you can enter. And my number 4 is the ABC Commissary. Have you eaten there before?
So I ate there when we did... No, never mind. That was Backlot. Sorry. I was going to say I ate there when we did a dining package with a early entry, but it was Backlot Express.
Backlot's actually on my honorable mention. It's not terrible.
Yeah, Backlot was okay.
It's overlooked, and it's I would agree, okay is a good way to describe that. ABC Commissary, when we went there, it was great for a couple reasons. One was they had a nice grilled chicken sandwich. As much as I love myself a hamburger, and I do, when you're with kids, a lot of times it's like hamburger, I want a hamburger, and that's fine. But I don't always want a hamburger. I want something a little different, or maybe something on the slightly healthier side.
Well, when you're there for a length of time and you're eating, the chicken you're usually eating at Disney is chicken finger or fried, and it's like a good grilled chicken sandwich is. It was definitely
very good.
Yeah.
It was a large grilled, not a patty, but a large piece of grilled chicken. It was pretty thick. It was great, and it was cooked just right. Lettuce, tomato, a little bit of mayo on it. It was a really excellent sandwich. So any of the burgers or sandwiches that I talk about, you can have them like with a standard bun or gluten-free bun. So just it's basically the same. It's just the bun's going to taste a little bit differently. But that grilled chicken sandwich was great. Everything was fresh, and the icing on the cake was you're inside and it's air conditioned, and it's really nice in there too.
Yeah.
And the ABC, for those of you who don't know, is that's the channel ABC.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be kind of like the food court when you're at the news network or the the TV station,
the
for
studios.
ABC. Yeah. So I liked it. I thought it was pretty good, and the food was definitely above average.
Cool.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I have not eaten there. Like I said, Hollywood Studios in general. I haven't eaten a ton of table service over there because there's not a ton of table service. I had Brown Derby, wasn't a fan.
Yeah, you weren't a fan of that.
But my number 4 quick service is also over at Hollywood Studios.
Really?
Yeah. My number 4 is Woody's Lunchbox.
Oh, I have.
So now
you've told me that story before. I haven't eaten there yet.
So it is, it's really good. I've never had a bad meal there. They have everything from like brisket melts and like nicer grilled cheese, like thick sourdough.
Did you have the Pop-Tart? Because that's supposed to be pretty famous.
So that was getting there. Oh yeah. So those lunch.
Well, keep going.
Yeah,
get to that at the end. I want to know what else.
No, I was right there.
Okay.
The lunchbox tarts are why you go. Right. They do have the grilled cheese, and they've got the potato barrels. They're tater tots. Let's call them like what they should be.
That's fine.
They make tachos with them, which is great.
Cool.
Those are good. But you're going there for the lunchbox tarts, which are just their homemade Pop-Tarts. And they have seasonal ones that are so good.
I remember.
They've got like a raspberry one.
Brown sugar or
maple
something.
They had maple bacon one time.
Man,
they had
those are.
I've had a peanut butter and jelly one before. Right now they've got a chocolate hazelnut with Well, actually, this is the one. It's chocolate hazelnut, maple fondant, and candied bacon.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, and it's $4.49. Like, come on, for $4.50, that's it, you might go there for the brisket melt is good, or like they make a smoked turkey sandwich, which again we just got done talking about. Sometimes you don't want a burger. They have really good choices there, and I'm gonna be honest. Hollywood studios in general, their quick service is some of the best on property,
Yeah,
in my opinion. Because I've got,
Oh, I didn't.
spoiler alert, but I got another one from Hollywood Studios on here.
Well,
so.
and I didn't put anything from Galaxy's Edge on here, but the two places from Galaxy's Edge that I've had was cool and unique. Personally, I wouldn't say it's going to crack my top 5, but it was very cool and different. So
I'm
also,
yeah, the Woody's Lunchbox. I'm telling you, if you can eat it, because I don't think they make them gluten free. Sorry, Rob.
yeah, it's
but,
all right.
But if you can eat that, you should go. And they do have specials every once in a while where it's like, I want to say last year they had like a breakfast bowl. Like right now, if I'm looking,
Yeah, I remember hearing about that actually.
I'm looking at the menu right now, and it's not showing up. I could have swore. Oh yeah, it is breakfast bowl. I was just not scrolling. Yeah, the breakfast bowl is huge, and it's got like sausage gravy and or not sausage gravy, it's smoked brisket country gravy. It's ridiculous. It's like under $9. It's like a bowl you get at Denny's, but like I like those bowls.
Did they put the tots in there too?
So it is a hearty portion of potato barrels, smothered in smoked brisket country gravy, scrambled eggs, and then some green onions on it.
Cool.
But
Sounds great.
It's really good. And like I said, you got to get that, and you have to get a lunchbox tart. Because
Cool.
if you don't get the lunchbox tart, you're not doing it right. But that was my number 4.
Great choice.
So what's your number 3?
So my number 3 is a burger place, and I think this may be the best burger place in all of Walt Disney World that's a quick service and inside one of the parks. Okay, and it's new. That's another clue.
Oh, I know where you're going.
So number 3 is a new place that just recently opened that we went to visit last time, and it's called Connections Cafe.
Yep.
So Connections, go ahead.
No, yep.
Connections Cafe, we had, we decided we were in the mood for burgers. And again, I don't want to do burger every day, every meal. So I'm like, all right, we're going to save it for this because we haven't been to this place yet. And I looked at the menu and I was actually really surprised because your standard cheeseburger, your standard hamburger, but they had all these fun options on there. And I don't have the list in my hand. I mean, you're quicker to the draw than I am, but the one that I got was a Santa Fe burger, which had salsa and corn. Like it was, I don't know, it was really, really good. And I don't know, I was very impressed. And that before that, I think it was called Electric Umbrella was the name of the place that was there.
I think so.
And it was average. I mean, it was okay, but I think this was definitely a step up. It was the new architecture inside there is beautiful and bright. All the walls are all glass walls, so there's a lot of natural light coming in. It's very clean.
It's very clean and modern.
It's very nice. Oh, and when we went there, we actually sat at a table. I think this may have been the day after you left, and we stayed an extra day.
It was.
That was the day after you left.
It was slammed because we were going to grab a bite in there together.
Yes.
When we were riding Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
And I remember it was slammed. Yeah. It was absolutely just packed. And we were like, yeah, that's not happening today.
So we sat at kind of a higher table, with those raised, almost like a bar table sort of. And in the middle of the bar, they had charging stations.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah.
So we sat there and everyone charged up the phones and relaxed a little bit. And the food was very, very good. So that's my number 3 for quick service in Epcot is the Connections Cafe.
So they have like a really good menu, honestly. I just looking through quickly.
Did you see any of the varieties of burgers?
Oh yeah, they've got like a French bistro burger.
That's right.
Southwestern burger.
That must be what I had.
Yeah,
because it was corn and salsa. That must be it.
Yep. And they've got like the typical classic burger. They've got some chicken sandwich on there. They've even got some pizzas. I'm interested in the fact that they've got a General Tso's chicken salad and a niçoise salad. Like those are sound like great options. A curry spiced pizza. I love curry.
Me too.
So
I would try that.
Yeah, it's their veggie plant-based option too.
Cool. Yeah, so try that when you go this summer. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be during Food and Wine, so I might not. I might be full from all the Food and Wine booths, but I will tell you that when you do these kinds of lists, sometimes you get worried that like people are going to think you're stupid because you like something that's really not good, right? Like I think my pick for Gaston's, people are like, that's not a quick service restaurant. You get one or two things there.
Again, we're a subjective podcast.
Right. However, I think that Connections Cafe is slowly or maybe quickly becoming one of, if not the best quick service on property. There's another one that I know is more widely regarded as the best quick service on property. I'm sure it's on your list. But it's
you would be right.
but this one is quickly catching up because it's, I think, more approachable.
Yeah.
But it also has like the fact that it's got a curry pizza, the fact that it's got a General Tso's salad, the fact that it's got
and this secret place you're talking about that's going to be on my list is not as family friendly because it doesn't have the word burger, pizza, like that is for your average American family. They're looking for those words, as opposed to the other thing I will talk about later on my list.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump into my pod. See what I did there?
Oh, well done.
And jump over to where I'm going for my number 3, which is going to irritate at least one listener, and that is I'm going to La Cantina de San Angel.
And I will join in because that is my number dos.
So I love this place.
Me too.
I get it's not authentic. I understand that it's not the greatest Mexican food. However,
we live in Western New York.
Yes, it's a lot better. It's a lot better than Rancho Viejo up the road. So, I love this place, and part of the reason I like it is because it's a tradition. So I understand there's that, but like, it gives good options. My son really loves their
I'm trying to remember what he got.
Salsa verde. He loves. He does, but he loves barbacoa.
Yeah. And did he get the trio? Or did he get the 3 different?
I doubt he got the trio. He probably got just the beef because like he
just
about,
likes the barbacoa beef.
Like every time I get a chance to make barbacoa for him, he like freaks out because that's what he wants always. But I love that restaurant, and I think part of the reason I like it too is you have a choice. Do you want to sit out in the sun? Go ahead. Do you want to sit inside in the air conditioning? Yes, please. Let's go in there.
And it's always half full during lunchtime.
I don't think people even know it's open.
No.
I would say that the eating outdoors is another one that if you don't like birds watching you eat, waiting for you to drop something, don't eat there. Yeah. And if you are
just go inside.
Yeah. Or if
you're birds inside.
If you're susceptible to like if you're like a one drink person, you may want to choose not to get a margarita there.
I have that experience.
So the margaritas there,
they are awesome. They are hard.
Yeah, the margarita there and the one across the way, the little margarita stand. They're both really good places to get a good margarita. Not as good as going inside and going to La Cava, but as far as quick service goes, that I love that place. I never miss it, and I know you don't either. So it's your number 2 for a reason.
Yeah, it's my number 2, and I love it, and for most of the reasons you mentioned too, and the majority of the things. Actually, I think it's all. I think I asked the not waitress, the woman who's taking our order. I said, "So what on the menu is not gluten-free?" And she said everything's gluten-free. But I remember there was one thing that wasn't, and I found out not the hard way. But when I ordered the trio, and it was shrimp and chicken and barbacoa taco. And when the shrimp came, the shrimp was breaded. So luckily, I saw that. No one else in my crew ordered anything with the shrimp in it. But that was the one thing I saw, that it was breaded shrimp, unless maybe it was breaded with gluten-free something, and it could have been, but I didn't want to take a chance and get sick. So I didn't eat it. But back to the margaritas there, which are fantastic, that I had once. I don't know why I didn't have it when we were together. I had it when my wife and I went by ourselves. So the way to describe this is, if you are going to like, we'll use Applebee's for example, because I think that's pretty much a national chain, right? So if you're going to Applebee's and you get a margarita, that's comparing it to like listening to a rock band like Guns N' Roses or Metallica. It's a hard drink, right? When you go to this place, the Cantina, and you get a margarita, that's like it's like Slayer. Like it's hard.
I don't know if it's that hard.
That's well, I could go harder than Slayer. But to me, it's like I was surprised.
Yeah.
Happy, but surprised.
Yeah, I mean, they don't skimp. That's what I'll say is like usually when you go to places at a theme park and order a mixed drink or especially margarita,
Yeah.
where they're going to throw so much sour mix into it. And I hate it when I go and order a margarita and I didn't even realize it, but they're giving me a frozen margarita. I want margarita on the rocks. I want an actual margarita, and they do them well there. They actually do. I will say, if you're a margarita person, though, do yourself a favor. Go inside to La Cava and get a really good one.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember we were hanging out for a bit, and you went in and you got a real one.
Yeah, oh yeah. I love that place.
Okay.
Because I really like good sipping tequila, and that's a great place to go get that. But their margaritas are great. And by the way, that shrimp taco that you didn't eat because it was breaded is Mexican corn breaded.
Oh, I could have eaten it then.
Yes.
I was nervous.
Yeah, I get
so
it.
the lady was right.
Yeah.
So yeah, good. I'm actually glad. I'm
So
happy that. So next time I will bite right into that.
yeah, I mean
It looked too good. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean by too good?
Yeah,
Not
it
like
didn't
it looks yummy. Like it looked like it was breaded with.
with flour.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did. It didn't look like it was cornbread.
So that was my number 2. So it's gonna bounce back to Nick again because we both kind of crossed over at that one, which and we'll go to Nick's number 2. But man, I love that place.
I can tell you that's the only one that I thought we would match up on, and we did. And I'm glad we matched up in a spot where we both could talk about it at the same
definitely.
time.
Love that place.
So my number 2 is one that I don't know if you've eaten here. I think you have, but I'm not positive. Ronto Roasters. And Ronto Roasters
Yes.
is
I had breakfast there. That's the one
their morning wraps or the Ronto morning wrap.
That's the one with the sausage and egg.
Yeah.
So it's like an egg. Yeah. We had breakfast there. It was awesome.
So I love the Ronto wrap. Now they had the Ronto morning wrap, which is the one that Rob's talking about with the eggs and the grilled pork and the shredded cheddar and all that.
But the special sauce is the best part of it. I don't know what it is, but it's awesome.
It's a peppercorn sauce, but it's like
great.
So I love the regular Ronto wrap. It's got like a tangy slaw that's in there too with that peppercorn sauce. It is so good. It's like, I don't know how to describe it other than to say it's basically a pork sausage with the wrap isn't a wrap, it's a pita, right? And so, and it's grilled. It's so good. And they have other really good stuff there. I haven't had them, but for breakfast, I've heard that the overnight oats are really good there. They have like fruit and stuff in them. And then drinks wise, you can get some pretty cool drinks there. You've got obviously the blue and green milk,
which is not gluten-free for our listeners.
Yeah,
it's something oat is in it.
Yeah. I don't really get it anyway. But
it didn't quite break through the way butterbeer did.
No, exactly. Butterbeer was awful though. It's not good. They do serve alcohol. It's like the actual drinks instead of like just here's your drink or your beer or whatever.
Wonder if it's any of the same things that they have at Oga's.
They're not the same, but they do have some like bourbon drinks and they have a vodka drink, but they also have their own beer. It's Trandoshan Ale, which is made by Dogfish Head, which on their menu says Dogfish Head, Miami, Florida. And
is that not where they're out of?
I mean, I didn't know they have a satellite there. I guess Dogfish Head's big, but they're from Delaware. So I don't know. Maybe they have a place in Miami too.
Or maybe that's specifically where it's brewed.
Right, but I'm specifically saying to you that Dogfish Head.
That's where they're based out of originally.
Yeah. I didn't even know they had a place in Delaware.
Huh.
Like,
interesting.
I
know what you meant. I didn't know they had it in Miami.
Right,
they're from Delaware.
I know they've got places other than the main flagship in Delaware. I didn't know they had one in Florida.
Huh.
Specifically, I didn't know they had one in Miami. But that's enough about the beer. they also have
and that's a selling point to a lot of listeners, I'm sure.
Yeah. They have the pork rinds that are pretty good. I've had those. I like this place a lot. Now, I will tell you, most people say this is not the better of the two. Docking Bay 7, they say, is better. I haven't eaten there, so I can't say that.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. I feel like I've gone to both, but I don't think I have.
So like Docking Bay 7 is oftentimes compared to Satuli Canteen as far as like being like different type of food. Like
Okay.
It's familiar food presented in a different way. It did catch a little bit of flack, or Disney itself caught a little bit of flack about
The names?
because Docking Bay 7 and Satuli Canteen try to present alien foods, and the alien foods are all like Asian inspired food, and so they caught a little bit of flack. Like,
Sure.
dude, this is my Asian culture, and you're calling it. You're saying it's from another planet.
Okay.
Like, so they did catch a little bit of flack about that.
Sure. I mean,
But-
that could be offensive for sure.
I think if you've never had a Ronto wrap, it's worthwhile getting one. You could easily split it. It's not easy to split, but I'm saying you could easily split that with somebody who you don't mind either eating with, or you don't mind that you're gonna have to use your hands to rip it in half. I guess you could get a fork and a knife and cut it, like a plastic fork and knife. It's a hefty portion, honestly. For what you're getting, though, it's well priced as well. Like it's $13 for the lunch one, and the morning one is just under that. It's like I think $12.50 or something like that for the morning one. But the morning one's really good too. I've had them both. I like it, and they do have that gluten free, because I think they give it without the wrap, or they have a gluten free wrap.
Both.
Oh, they do.
They have both options. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's my number 2 is Ronto Roasters.
Well, it's a good segue because you just mentioned my number one, and my number one, and I will have a funny story with this. And number one, I'll get right to it so I can tell the funny story. Is my number one is Satuli Canteen, and that is a quick service restaurant themed around the movie Avatar in Animal Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we have visited Disney around the time where my wife and I have our anniversary. So my wife requested that when we, on the day of our anniversary, that we go to Animal Kingdom and we have our anniversary dinner at Satuli Canteen.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean,
we were with the kids, but we had our anniversary dinner at that specific restaurant. And that's how much I like it for sure, but she loves it.
I would love for my wife to say, hey, let's have our anniversary dinner at, and then insert Disney place here. Not because I'm already there, but because like, she just said, I think we should have our anniversary. Ours is coming up in a couple of weeks. So I'll be like, all right, let's go.
There's a picture of us with we had the anniversary button. It's like this purple button with the rings on it.
Yep.
So we wore that button that day, and it was kind of fun. So Satuli Canteen is, like you mentioned, it's sort of, I guess it's kind of Asian inspired adjacent, but also at the same time, it has that kind of, Mexican food vibe. They try to bring it across like it's alien because they have like these cheeseburger pods, which kind of look like,
I mean, it's bao.
Yeah.
All it is bao.
Right. And then, they present it to look like it's, an alien type thing.
So I've eaten here once.
Purple rice, like I think it's great food, and it's a big portion too.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm a big eater, and it fills me up.
Yeah, I've eaten there once, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't like the cheeseburger pods, and so I don't know if it was a texture. I like bao, so I'm not sure why.
Try again this summer and try.
I'll get a bowl.
Just get one of the regular bowls,
yeah.
and I think you'll really like it. Like whatever spices they use, and it's the closest thing I can compare to is going to Chipotle or Moe's or something like that, where you get like a rice bowl with the different ingredients, and the sauces are very unique too.
Yeah, no, I screwed up. I mean, that I'll admit that. Like, I should not have ordered the cheeseburger pods.
Well, it's something to try. Like, I don't view that as you screwing up. You're trying it out, so now you can kind of report back and say, no, I wasn't into it. All I'm saying is, try it again.
I will.
And tell me what you think.
I will.
I think the food is good enough that it could crack your top 5. Once you try some of these different, the different options of bowls, maybe you order one that's a beef based, or one of your kids or your wife orders one that's like a chicken one. Try it out and see.
Oh, I know I would like it. I think what I know that day that I ate there, it was later in the day. We had a late like breakfast / lunch. Because you can do that at Tuskers, where you get the last breakfast.
Oh, you were telling me
so
that.
you get the last
So
breakfast
you can have
buffet, and then
both.
you get the. So we were pretty full, but this was like I didn't need anything big, so that's why I just went with the cheeseburger pods. I think for me, I was like, oh, cool, like I like bao, this should be good. And then I tried it, and I was like, that does not belong in that dumpling. And I think that it was that I wanted it to be more traditional because it tastes like it's like a freaking burger. It tastes like a McDonald's burger inside a bao bun, and you're like, wait, what is this? But yeah, I
feel like kids would love that though. Kids in general, not mine.
Some, not mine.
Couldn't eat it, but
well, texturally though, like it's odd.
it's like chewy, right?
Well, that's odd. Yeah, it's like I don't know. My son did not try it. He looked at it, was like, no, I'm not trying that. But he had one of those cool layered drinks. That's the other thing. They have like really cool layered drinks with the boba balls in it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a couple different ones of those.
Yeah, that's a great restaurant, and I do think that it warrants being number one on somebody's list who has eaten there more than just having the pods.
And I haven't even mentioned this part. Like the environment inside is really cool.
Oh, absolutely. It's a really cool restaurant.
It's air conditioned inside, and you kind of walk down this tunnel, and when you order your food, it looks very much like in Avatar, where there's the base of the earth, or the I don't want to say earthlings, but
No, I know what you mean.
That's kind of where you order, and then you walk down the tunnel, and then it opens up, and it's more like the Na'vi people and the woven sticks as part of the decor inside.
And if you sit,
really cool
if
place.
you sit just outside in that like
Under the shaded area,
yeah, it's actually not super hot in there.
Yeah, it's nice.
I don't know if it's because like the doors opening and stuff, and like the air conditioning coming out.
Maybe.
But there's also, I believe, I could be dreaming this, but I think there's fans up above you too in that location.
Remember.
But it's definitely not for a park that doesn't have a lot of places to go and hide
And cool off.
Yeah. Or at least in that part of the park, there's not.
Yeah.
I think that's a great spot to just sit and chill.
Yeah.
You can grab a drink. They also have their like Animal Kingdom beers over there, but they don't. I'm surprised they don't have one that's themed more toward Pandora, because I think they have like the elephant one, and they've got like They have the different ones that are like inspired by Animal Kingdom over there.
There's been talk. They have an expansion pad where they can expand and put in a restaurant, or I think originally there was a roller coaster that was going to be put in there with Avatar. When you walk into the park, into Animal Kingdom, and you take a left and you go that direction back to Pandora, right before you enter and you look up and you see the floating
islands.
The islands to the left, that area it's all zoned and dog-eared for an expansion if and when they ever want to do.
That's where they're putting the prison.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, and then
that'll fit right in with the whole storyline with the Na'vi and getting captured.
Yeah, the prison yard is going to actually be part of the savannah, and it's going to be all about like when you get your 24 hours of daylight, because they're only going to have people there that are like really, really bad. Only get 1 hour a day. They're going to have to go out and dodge the lions.
Oh my God.
All right. Sorry.
Not real, folks. We're being sarcastic.
People listening to this in the future, when all of this is like gone by,
you're
like, what are they talking
about?
What
prison?
What prison are they talking about?
No, that's just a joke.
Yeah. That's I can't argue with that number one. That number one is probably something that would be on my list higher had I tried something else.
I can't wait for you to go back again. We have this conversation.
Yeah.
You're gonna love
it. My number one is a place that I have eaten at many times. And now I don't eat at a lot of quick service, but this particular quick service I eat at frequently because it's my home quick service, and that is Captain Cook's over at the Polynesian.
Not Captain Jack's.
Not Captain Jack's, no.
Yes.
But Captain Cook's is, in my belief, one of the top. I mean, this is by like other people ranking them. I think it's in the top 5 resort eateries or quick service resort eateries. I haven't eaten at all the other ones, but I will tell you this one's really good. They've got this is a huge one. For breakfast, they do have the Tonga toast, which is a big thing that people love about going up to Kona Cafe. And if you don't want to have to go to Kona and get a reservation and sit down, they have the same Tonga toast downstairs at Captain Cook's. They've got your typical Mickey's waffles and stuff like that, but they've got a really good breakfast burrito. They have a morning flatbread, and that's just the breakfast. They have a nice platter too, but their dinner and their lunch, they've got these Thai coconut meatballs that are ridiculously good.
I've had them many times.
And you have?
Oh, yeah, many times. We have literally eaten, I don't want to derail you here.
No, that's fine.
We have eaten literally everything on the menu multiple times that's gluten-free.
Yeah.
When we stayed there, we ordered from there every single day.
Yeah.
We've had all of it. The meatballs are incredible.
The Pan Asian noodles and vegetables are really good. I know that you can't, I don't think you can eat that because they're not rice noodles, I don't think.
Keep going. What else you got?
The pork sandwich, the pulled pork sandwich is so good. Mm-hmm. And this is my favorite. My favorite is the pulled pork nachos. They have pulled pork nachos that are just
if I ever had those.
Phenomenal. Well, they're nachos with your cheese, your pico de gallo, pineapple salsa, pulled pork, and then there's a spicy. I think they say it's a spicy mayonnaise, but it's not. It doesn't taste like mayonnaise. They have a really good Asian noodle salad that's like got miso dressing on it. It is a really good resort quick service. And then you can just get your food and you can either eat in there or you can go sit like we did it, and we went and sat outside. So like right around the corner from Pineapple Lanai, and you've got that
the shaded area.
Yeah, and there's that lawn right there.
Yep. That
with the fake grass, and that's where they set up stuff like
movie night,
and they were the day we were sitting there eating this past time, or the one I'm thinking of as I'm telling you this story, was they were doing like games for the kids. So they had like a Wii, like a Nintendo Wii, and the kids were doing like Dance Dance Revolution type stuff, and they had all the kids getting active. I don't understand why they needed to get kids active. They just walked 12 miles. They just walked 12 miles.
They still have energy.
But yeah, they were definitely bouncing around.
Yeah.
But you have the views of the castle from there. You can see into the pool. It's a great spot. And then of course, when you're done, you go and get your Dole Whip for dessert.
Good choice.
Yeah, Captain Cook's for me is definitely number one.
Yeah, that's a great place. We've eaten there many times. Yep, I would say that's definitely a highlight for me as well.
You have any honorable mention?
I do. I have a couple comments of some places, good and bad, that I didn't really get to spend a lot of time on. I'm going to make them quick. Pecos Bills is in Magic Kingdom, and it's Mexican food. It's okay. It's decent. It's not a bad choice. The Chinese food in Epcot, we've had twice. Both times it was very bad. We had I put Sunshine Seasons. It's okay. It's nice to go in there in the air conditioning.
If you have picky eaters, it's a great spot.
Exactly. There's a very wide range of different things you can get there.
Yep. I agree.
Burgersaurus was not great. Backlot Express we talked about earlier. Backlot is better than you think it's going to be. I'm not saying it's world class, but it's better than you think. And that's at Hollywood Studios.
And I've heard, now I don't know if it's true because I haven't eaten there, but I saw a couple recent reviews from people who I tend to agree with and who tend to eat more of the table service stuff. They said, Backlot Express is kind of doing some good stuff, some interesting stuff now.
It's not bad. Cosmic Rays is average if you're over there and you don't really have any other option. It's not terrible. It's kind of a fun environment and you can cool off as well.
I mean, a hot dog's a hot dog.
And then the last one is the Pinocchio Village House. We went there because they had gluten-free chicken fingers, and that's one of the only places that has them. My son liked it. They were kind of crispy, and he enjoyed it. And then we got a couple gluten-free pizzas. They were cold and floppy. Oof. They were horrible.
Yeah.
So not a huge fan of that place, but that's just a couple notes I had from some other place. I don't want to spend too much time on it.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too long here.
Yeah. So I've got a couple too. I've got Yak and Yeti quick service, the quick service version there over. I think they call it Yak and Yeti Cafe. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but I like that. And then this is kind of quick service adjacent. I love this place, and my kids like it because they can go and sit in the shade. And it is Baseline Tap House. So they do have
we've talked about this.
So they've got like the really good pretzel, like
it's across from Muppets.
Yeah. So they got the really good pretzel, and they've got the Of course, they're like a beer bar, and they've got I think they've got like some kind of like spiced nuts and stuff like that. And there's some other things you can get there. You can get a charcuterie board, I believe.
Cool.
So it's definitely a good place for a snack. It's not really a quick service, but I did want to give a dishonorable mention. I know I don't want to run too long, but
I just did with Pinocchio Village.
I think it's a shame that a place as amazing as the Beach Club can have the Beach Club Marketplace as their quick service and think it's okay. It's not awful food, but it's like extremely limited, and I don't even know how to describe this place. It's a restaurant, but it's connected to their gift shop.
It looks very 90s.
Do
you agree with that? It looks dated and 90s.
I think it looks like the Beach Club. I mean, honestly, I think it looks like. But
I wasn't a big fan of that whole decor in there.
Yeah, I don't know how they get away with, like, if you look it up on My Disney Experience or whatever they're calling that app today, Beach Club Marketplace. Well, make sure you click on the one with the restaurant little icon, because the Beach Club Marketplace is also where you can buy your souvenirs.
That's confusing.
It's beyond me why a place as like, I don't know, high end as the Beach Club. Everybody loves beach and yacht, and that's what they have. They do have some breakfast stuff that's okay, like Mickey waffles and whatnot, but their lunch and dinner selections are horrible.
That's too bad.
It was not good. I don't recommend getting anything. I can't recommend getting anything there, and I don't know why the Deluxe Resort has that. So that's just my opinion on that place. But I don't eat a lot of quick service, so this was hard.
Well, again, we thank everybody for listening, and especially our new listeners. And I want to try to remember to remind our listeners to do this more. I always forget. Is we like to see what our listeners' top 5 are too.
Yeah.
And I need to be better about that, because it's always interesting to me to see what everybody else thinks too. Because obviously it's what we do is subjective, and I'm just always curious. And a couple of my friends who they'll send me their list too, but post them on our social media.
Yeah,
we like to
absolutely
see that kind of stuff, and share it with friends. If you know somebody that's a Disney fan or looking to go to the parks, we're trying to focus on doing some episodes that are a little less specific and stuff that will kind of appeal to everybody.
Yeah, more planning type stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we enjoy that too. We love going, deep in, what do they call it? Going down the rabbit hole with some crazy, some super specific stuff, which we do and we love and we're going to do. But it's always nice to pull back and just kind of look at overview of the whole park and
big picture.
And see really what we're into. So,
absolutely.
Any last thoughts before we close here, Nick?
The only last thought I have is please make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at DizListPod. And if you share, if you enjoy what you're listening to, if you could share us with friends and then leave a 5-star review or and a little message for us over on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, that would be great.
Oh yeah, you posted the reviews. That was cool.
Yeah, we had some great ones.
Those are fun to read.
Keep those things coming. We really love hearing it and love getting the positive feedback.
Yeah, maybe we'll read those once in a while. Our friends at Park Drop and Rope Hop. Just kidding. I'm joking with the name on purpose. They're great. Yeah. Great people. They read them a lot. They read their reviews a lot too. Yeah. So shout out to them. They're awesome. And if you're not familiar with their show, it's Park Hop and Rope Drop. Did I say it right this time? Because I keep saying it backwards now. Because I say it.
Yeah, you joke around about it all the time.
I flipped the name around.
You always do it too.
Oh my gosh, they are great ladies, and if you like our show, you will definitely like their show as well. They're
basically the female version of us.
Yeah, they're really, really funny. They do a great job.
They do. But it's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow is just a list away.
Tune in next time, and we'll see you real soon.